Hey there. This week on the show, you're going to ride along with me from the incredibly comfortable and stylish VW ID Buzz, which served as the mobile podcast studio at CEDIA Expo, CIX, this September in Denver, Colorado. This is part 2 of the Ride Along series, recorded live from CEDIA. So, for those not familiar, CEDIA, Custom Electronic Design and Installation Association. It's the global trade association for home technology professionals, specializing in smart home, automation, audiovisual, networking, and integrated systems. CEDIA Expo is the industry's largest annual event of residential technology professionals, with hundreds of exhibitors, educational sessions, live demos. Absolutely amazing. The Commercial Integrator Expo, CIX, is co-located with CEDIA Expo and focuses on the commercial integrated integration technologies, from conferencing and IT infrastructure to building automation and emerging AV solutions. Fascinating. This road trip was an absolute blast, and I am so thrilled to be sharing these conversations with you. We've got an absolutely jam-packed show for you today, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, because you're going to hear about all of it right after this. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you've heard me say this, that the most important word in the design industry is service. Product is important, price is important, selection is important, but stellar service is the premier idea that can make all the difference in the success of a project, any project. How design professionals like you demand great service and your favorite brands in one place with expert, knowledgeable, and non-commission sales professionals. It's really important. It means that their only incentive is your satisfaction. Pacific Sales, Kitchen and Home, a Best Buy company, has just that with over 60 years of experience in Southern California. Pacific Sales is your destination for exploration, advice, and inspiration. Now, you have the Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home team to help you and offer their Pro Rewards program, which is a trade program unlike any you have experienced before. Earn 3% in Best Buy gift cards, e-gift cards, or 2.5% in rewards checks for every qualified and delivered sale. In addition to special trade pricing, exclusive offers, access to exclusive special events, and so much more than I could possibly tell you about here. And the cherry on top is access to exclusive builder trade incentives from top brands and the stellar service, again, from a company that has been serving the industry for over 60 years. Terms and conditions apply to the Pro Rewards program and builder trade incentives. So visit a Pacific Sales expert at a showroom today for full details and to learn how you can unlock additional savings and benefits. Don't miss out on the opportunity to work with the best of the best. Visit Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home today and elevate your projects to new heights. And this is so comfy inside the VW ID Buzz.
I know, I feel like all I'm missing is like a sleep mask and like leaning back and I could take a nap, you know?
It'd be so great.
I'm Caitlin Stewart. I am the Director of Sales, primarily overseeing residential at Leon Speakers. So we're based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I live not too far, a little bit north of Detroit, and really excited. So we have our whole sales team here. I have a team of 2 account managers that are here. We oversee all of residential sales. So I kind of take care and look over all things rep related, buying group related, kind of helping drive the residential market for Leon.
Tell me about Leon.
Good. That's a fun question. I could tell you about Leon for a long time. Leon is very unique. It's a really dynamic company. If you talk to anyone that has ever physically been to our factory, it is a life-changing experience. It's like a museum of sound. I think when people think of Leon, they think of Noah, our founder, who is just like the most insane creative in the best way possible. And so I think that kind of has continued on since we were founded in 1997. So we're about to enter in our 30th year. And I think the thing that people are noticing about us and where I think of Leon right now is really a leader in design. And not necessarily in purely technology design, but design in general. So we don't consider ourselves a technology company. We truly consider ourselves a design-first company that just happens to have also really great sounding audio and concealment solutions.
Where does the design come in, and what is the integration between design and product?
That's a great question. I think there's it depends on who you ask and how you look at it. I think when we think design first, I mean, we always have the tagline, lead by design, leave nothing unfinished. So we don't want people to have to sacrifice form for function and vice versa. We want things to serve a purpose of being beautiful and enhancing environments while also being functional. I think sometimes our industry has really been stagnant. It's like, oh, it's a black box. It's an angular thing. And the industry has made leaps and bounds and huge strides in incorporating current design trends with the A&D community, and that comes down to relevancy. I think there's a really interesting time that we're in right now where we're talking about how are we relevant to the person that's usually the head on top of the job. It's not the GC anymore, it's the designer, it's the architect. And so how are we staying relevant as an industry and owning more of the room and cultivating more of the environment and leading with design so that people are seeing this not as something that can easily be chopped off the budget because it's an afterthought. Like, we don't want to be an afterthought, right? Like, we all have really intentional products and we all have talented engineers and are trying to be the best at technology, but the design side of things is where the relevancy comes in, and that's what keeps it going. That's why we grow, that's why we still become important, that's why you're seeing a lot of designers here at the show, and I think they're really pushing the industry to change, you know?
Do I know? Yes, I know. And, by the way, it's really interesting. So this is day 2 here at CEDIA in Denver. CEDIA Expo in Denver in the Volkswagen ID bus. I don't have to say that, by the way. This is not a sales pitch.
I know, but it's beautiful. It's very well designed.
To be frank with you, I've been doing the show since 2013, and I've done the show from a lot of places, but I've never done it from a vehicle before. And so for me, this is an absolute joy. And it speaks to your point about design and not sacrificing, because it's interesting to me, one of the findings, I expected to come out here and see every show I go to, I see architects I know, I see designers I know, I see landscape architects I know, I see brand managers, and I did an impromptu, ask 25 designers, architects that I've had on the show over the last 10, 12 years, will I see you at CEDIA Expo? I got a lot of no, and what is CEDIA Expo? And I don't say that like, well, you should be here, you're not doing your job. I don't mean that. What I mean is, this is an incredible opportunity for an interior designer, architect, landscape architect, to understand what the possibilities are and to find incredible products like Leon. That's a gift. And it's more than a gift. It's something that should be included in their schedule of events. And I've been joking about it, but designers, I mean, seriously, guys, how many sofas do you really need to see?
Well, and the thing about these shows, right, that's helpful for any of us, whether we've been, to CEDIA 10 years in a row or something, is inspiration, right? Like, that's where design is rooted. You get inspired by something, and it continues. And so what you're saying echoes something. I've been telling this story, is yesterday, someone was like, oh, like, how does this resonate with the design community? And I said, they love it. We recently exhibited at ICFF, the Intercontinental Furniture Fair, which is a really unique place for an more AV focused group to be. And the thing that I heard over and over again from a lot of the A&D community that came, they would see the moving art screen or they'd see the lighted sconces. They're like, I wish I would have known about this 2 weeks ago. And so there's just so much missed opportunity. And a lot of it too is, I think, us in our industry trying to do a better job at explaining what we do in a relevant way and using like the language that makes sense and not just, this has high frequency and this, is a 5-inch woofer, things that are like, why is it going to work in this space? What are you doing to bring it into their world to make them understand that it's important for their client, because their client shouldn't have to sacrifice. And we also, I think, the folks from Technology Designer were at the show trying to encourage the design community to come to CEDIA. And, it's like, come to CEDIA, learn some stuff. And I was like, honestly, come to CEDIA to challenge all of us, to tell us what you guys need, because that's where it's going to take us. If we want to stay relevant in that community, we need to have them tell us, no, I don't need a black box. I need something better, right?
Not only that, you bring up a great point. And not only that, it's really interesting too, because when I'm having a conversation with a designer on the show, we start off like this, and inevitably I will wind up going to their portfolio because I want to showcase and learn more about how what they say translates into what they do.
Yeah.
So where we are today, for a litany of reasons that we don't need to get into again here, but they have more products professionally shot than ever before.
Yeah.
And I would say it's about 50-50. The designers who choose, or their photographers for them, but choose to Photoshop out.
It's the worst.
I know.
It's the worst.
The outlets, plugs, switches, cables, tech of all kinds, cans, even the lighting fixtures. And I've been thinking about it, and I've been having these conversations, and it's like, look, it seems a little disingenuous if you design something one way, but you don't feel like it should be photographed that way. And I'm not chastising anybody. I think it's an important note to mention. I think it's a really important point, because if it shouldn't be there, find a better option.
Yeah.
Tell companies what it is you want from them. And I don't feel like enough in the A&D community do that. So tell me something. What is your integration with the A&D community? How do you engage with them? How do you get them to challenge you? How do you teach them?
I think a lot of times our industry makes assumptions of what they need. I think it's very much a meet them where they are type of thing. We've at Leon been really trying to focus on where we're really uniquely positioned, I think, as a brand, as a company, to be in places where a lot of other AV-focused companies aren't. And so that's why we're showing up at places like ICFF, doing the CEUs, working with NKBA and KBIZ and local organizations to kind of help be in that community and go in and listen. It's a lot of listening, and I think it's inviting the right people to the table. For us, we've seen a lot of success in actually working with an interior design and architecture firm to help us design new product. If we want it to be relevant, want it to be things that they can use as a solution, right? When you're talking about things getting deleted from photos, if things are, the fixture conversation is huge. It's where a lot of the budget goes. It's where a lot of intention and design goes. But if it's beautiful, it's designed and you can see it. Noah, our founder, will tell you all the time, he says, invisibility can be the absence of design. And we don't want that. We, at least for us, we think it's really important for us to be really intentional with that. And so a lot of it's bringing them in, meeting them where they're at, and having conversations about, okay, we know that this big black rectangle on the wall is not ideal in your design. What would make it better? Is it making it completely disappear? Sure, we can do that. Is it maybe incorporating it into the design you have to complement and enhance all of the really beautiful decisions that you're making? Let's do that, right? And so I think it's also understanding one size doesn't fit all. The New York market, very different than the Texas market. They need different things. Don't assume they need the same thing, right? The trends change very quickly in the design world, and sometimes we don't change quick enough to be relevant for them.
I love that you said the T word, because I fight this every day. And here's what's interesting. And is this a fair assumption? That this particular show, you're going to see ideas, you're going to see concepts, but this show isn't really about ideas and concepts for the future. It's what's applicable now. Is that a fair assumption?
I think it's a fair assumption. It's something I always ask our integrators that come by, hey, what's the next best thing you saw? What's the most exciting thing? And it's less of, this is something new I saw. It's more about, I learned how to use something that I didn't know did this, right? It's I have all this stuff at my fingertips and I just needed to look at it a different way. And I think a lot of that comes from the manufacturers, us having to be really clear about how are we presenting things and creating ways for our integrators to understand how they can use them as a tool, and yeah, it's not, I think it's innovation, but not always innovation in like a new thing. I think it's innovation in thought, and I think that's what a lot of the panels here are talking about, a lot of the product and the collaborations. I think there's more collaborations here than ever, which is helpful, right? Of figuring out new ways to use, TVs are still here, right? They're just getting bigger. And there's obviously new things, but how are we differentiating, I think, is the key.
To your point, it's not just that TVs are still here, talking about TVs, but when you talk about the concept of taking the TV, which is this traditional idea, and replacing it with an LED wall that, when it's not in use as a television, can be whatever the remaining wall is covered in, or the same color, or it could be a fish tank, or it could be art. There are dynamic ways to use the products now. And that being said, I kind of want to drill down on the engagement a little bit, because I imagine it's harder for you, because it's not like you have multi-line reps around the country that you can send a sample out to thousands of designers. You can't send a sample of your product. How do you maximize educational and engagement opportunities with an interior designer, for example, that will tell you, oh, I just let my contractor do that. I let the architect do that. I let my electrician do that. You get that a lot.
Yeah.
How do you maximize, and how do you do it? And then once you're there, how do you replicate the experience for an interior designer so that they can speak the vernacular, they can speak the language to their clients and sell it with the same passion that you do?
That's a great question. I think it's a two-part thing. I think understanding and having really great brand champions within the industry already is super helpful. People like Tony Sabatino, who is a really big CEDIA supporter.
Love Tony.
Big Leon supporter, has really great relationships with integrators. I think that's the biggest roadblock in the industry, right? Is we have integrators who really want to work with designers and trying to figure out like how can there be better education, things like that, to bring our communities closer so that we can have that like Tony and Rex relationship, right? They work really closely together. I think part of it too is for us as a brand at Leon, we know our products are impactful. We know coming to visit the factory and seeing where the magic happens is even more impactful. So we've been doing a lot of designer visits, architect visits, and showing them kind of how the magic is made, focusing on things that they like to focus on. Materiality is important. Color, material, finish, things that they, focus on a lot when they're choosing a Lutron shade or they're choosing a keypad, finish, things like that. Understanding that they can apply that to other things and seeing it happen at our factory has been super impactful for us. And it's a really great way for us to organically get feedback from the community instead of just being like, well, this is an article I saw in apartment therapy, or this is an article I saw reshared on LinkedIn, and this is what the design trend is. Coming in and actually understanding what people need and figuring out how it can be a solution rather than an afterthought.
What's next at Leon?
That's exciting. There's a lot of stuff that you can see upstairs that's kind of what's next for us. I think we're really trying to lead the way and be the thought leader when it comes to building this bridge between the A&D design community and the AV industry. So there are things up in our booth that a lot of people I don't think expected. So we have some really great acoustic treatments that are like hand woven, really thoughtful, dual purpose. Like I said, that's something that's really important to us, is having form and function. So being able to have something that maybe looks beautiful and is unexpected, but also enhances the environment, has a purpose, right? And that's something that we want people to focus on. And I mean, now, if you would have asked us 5 years ago if we were going to make frames for video walls, we would have, been like, yeah, maybe, hopefully. No one knew video walls were going to be this big, right? The next big thing. And so I think one thing that we're just really excited about and focusing on this is continuing to evolve, bringing in partners. So that's partners in the design community, that's partners within our own industry, and that's something that we're really proud of and really focused on.
My name is Tyler Hahn. I work for Market Share. We are the Pacific Northwest reps for Lutron, and technically my title is Lutron Concierge. But really what I do is educate and inspire the specification community on the Lutron products and offerings.
Tell me about the show.
About CEDIA?
CEDIA Expo, CIX, tell me about your experience this year.
Yeah, so I have kind of a cool job when we come here. I'm not really taking integrators on tours of booths or anything like that. I'm here to get social content, to learn what's new and what's happening and what's being talked about in the community, right? So I get to attend classes, I take a lot of social media content, I get to network, and that's really what the basis of my experience is at CEDIA, which is really, really great.
So you're the perfect person for me to ask. What are your takeaways from this year? What are you leaving with?
Well, I know there's a lot of talk about interior designers need to be more involved, and just the specification community in general need to be more involved at CEDIA. I think for me, what that would require is a shift in mindset of the vendors having more of an aesthetic way about presenting booths. I think a lot of people, this is an integrator show, right? And so the booths are designed and the products are made for the integrator mind and for to be honest, the male perspective. And we're getting a whole lot more women in the industry coming to CEDIA. The women's luncheon that I just attended today had over 400 people at it. It was sold out. It was the largest turnout they've ever had. So more women are coming to CEDIA, and I think we need to shift aesthetically what we're doing especially with audio. Lighting is kind of getting there. But I think with audio video manufacturers, we need to shift that mindset.
Can I challenge you on that assertion?
Of course.
I think they would have to come here first in order to be turned off by it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that there's also it's a catch-22, because maybe they don't want to come because that's what's happening, right? But you do have companies here that understand that, right? So, like I said, I am a Lutron rep, and Lutron is the reason why I have a job, because they understand the specification community and they understand that there is a certain target and there is money to be made by knowing that the specification community is like the key to the homeowner, right? And so there are companies here that are doing it, and I think once the shift happens more so overall and more designers start showing up, then we'll see that change.
So when you go back, you're talking with designers, architects, landscape architects?
Newly, yes. We just picked up, we are also Coastal Source reps, and so landscape architects are newly on our radar.
My name's Gina Colucci. I work with Market Share. We are the Pacific Northwest rep for Lutron and some other high-end AV brands. My focus is specification. So I'm also a Lutron concierge or a specification specialist, and I work directly with architects, interior designers, custom home builders, lighting designers, educating them on our products and making sure they have everything that they need to be able to put our products on their projects in the right way.
Tell me about your findings from CEDIA Expo, CIX 2025.
Right, so this is my third year here. And what I've noticed this year is a little bit of a shift. I think it's definitely becoming not just about the sound, but also about aesthetic, also about experience. I think people aren't just pushing spec sheets anymore, but they are pushing the experience. Like, what are we creating, right? And the focus is obviously the people who are passionate about these products, but at the end of the day, it's really about the people who are going to be buying the products and putting them in their home.
And I have heard that lighting has taken a big leap as represented at the show this year.
Absolutely, which is exciting. That's really my passion, is the lighting side, if you couldn't tell. But it's from a few years ago where you had some lighting, and now, with Lutron's intelligent lighting platforms and offerings, it is starting to become more mainstream.
The power is really in the performative nature of the product. How do you break through to the specifiers to get them to open, especially interior designers, to open up a little bit and say, okay, how can I make this part of my design?
Yeah. So, first off, we're very lucky that Lutron is our kind of flagship brand, because it has such a great reputation and the products just work. But to get into the offices, you need to meet these people where they are. You need to be able to have full mobile demo kits. I'm able to come to them, offer them what they need in a timely manner, but also understand that I speak their language, and I'm not going to be presenting to them in a language they don't understand. So I'm able to kind of take this world, reformulate how I explain it, and then talk an interior designer speak.
You translate it.
Yeah, I'm a translator, pretty much.
Because it is a language.
It totally is. And it's really funny. So when I took this job with Market Share, our principal came to us and offered me the job, and I go, I'm not a techie person. I don't even know how to update my iPhone. And he's like, great. Right? Perfect. You've got, you've got the connections, you've got kind of, the base understanding. We will train you, and then don't let us train you too much so that you aren't approachable anymore. So I'm going to give the specifiers the information that they need, cut through the noise, build that trust, and if I don't know an answer, which happens all the time, I know who does. So it comes down to owning those relationships, being available when they need me, but also not bothering them when they don't.
Yeah, I get that. And by the way, nobody is ever going to accuse you or Tyler of not being approachable.
Hopefully not. Well,
No, not at all. Hey, listen.
we love friends, so.
Exactly. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Julian Cross. We're an integrator out of Winnipeg, Canada. Started off as electricians by trade, and back in 2006. And 2019 we got in with Lutron, and that snowballed us into becoming a full-on integrator. And it's been a new part of the business, and it's been a pretty fun time.
How's the show this year?
Show's great. I like coming through and visiting all my salespeople first on the first day and do a bunch of meetings, and then my Fridays I like to kind of roam around and free flow and see what there is for new products out there. And so far I've always found something new every time I come. So
Isn't that the thing that's amazing? The inspiration and discovery at a show like this is just phenomenal.
So far this is only my third year here, but I always expect that it's going to be business as usual. But all the companies seem to put in a lot of resources, a lot of time and effort to continue to still somehow manage to launch new products, and it's pretty exciting. Gets you a little bit of the inside scoop, talk to some technical people, and just get ahead of what products are out there, so when you go back home to your region you can notice that you're still staying with using a lot of the newer products and trending to not fall behind, and it's noticeable for the other integrators in the area that aren't doing those things. So I still think I'm going to be coming here for a long time until I don't feel like I get anything out of it.
So I'm curious about that too, because this show is packed, absolutely packed, and there's so much to learn, to see, to talk about. How do you plan for a show like this? And I think you kind of touched on it, where Thursday is your organized day, Friday you're sort of freestyling, and then Saturday I assume you're following up. I don't mean to speak for you, but how do you prep for a show like this?
Make a little list. Try to focus on the lines that you're already using. I always think investing in what you already have is a little bit more efficient than trying to go for something new all the time. So I definitely start with our existing lines, check to see what's launching with those, see how I can enhance a project that we're currently in the middle of, for instance. And then from there, I try to look for alternate lines, or not necessarily substitute, but some of the lines that you have no backup for them. So it's nice to always at least have maybe some sort of alternate, whether it's a good, better, best game or just equivalent, so you can always make sure you're offering your clients the right solution for their project, because we spend a lot of time specifying them for what they need and not just creating packages that they can buy and fit into. So I think keeping up on your product knowledge and keeping up on what's there is the only way that's going to allow you to give that experience and service level to your clients.
Totally. What are you seeing this year that has got you excited?
Well, obviously there's lots of AI coming in from a lot of angles. So mainly that, and then just a lot of enhancements to existing products and expansions of lines, because in the last few years, obviously we took a little bit of a blip, so a lot of products were just kind of getting out there just to get some traction. I'm noticing a lot more expansion of existing lines this year, and not necessarily completely new lines, which I think is a little bit more refreshing. It's a little easier to fit it into your war chest of offerings, because it's just an enhancement to everything, and not you having to go back to the drawing board and redraw from scratch on how you're going to take an approach to build the next system.
What are you being asked for now that maybe clients weren't asking for, or asking for as much even a year ago?
I wouldn't say the clients are asking for specifically for products as much as they're asking for simplicity and consistency in how their systems work. I really try to more learn the customer and transcribe what they're looking for and make that their system. At least in the region that I am, I ask them about their past experiences, which systems they have had, what they like, what they didn't like. But it's not usually product focused, because to be honest, like, most of the clients don't really know exactly what's in their house. They more just know when they press a button, they want a certain action to happen, and that just has to happen when they do that.
And I love that you bring that up, because we're talking about the language. We're talking about the vernacular. And it's interesting because the industry is changing so rapidly. So is the language. And end users, clients, don't stay ahead of that. They have to rely on you.
Correct.
So you constantly have to stay ahead of that. How do you educate during the process?
A few forums that I'm constantly skimming. I kind of call it my version of the newspaper. I just find the feedback from the industry is really the best way to get an eagle eye on what's actually happening. It's not that you have to take action on anything that comes through, but I just find if you're regularly grazing information that's coming out, that's very helpful. And then just really try not to fall into the trap of creating a cocktail of systems and just carbon copying to the next client. You're always trying to actually build the system based on their needs, and so the more of their needs that you find out, that kind of leads you to exploring different or alternate products, and then that kind of naturally takes you through to exhaust your research of the lines that you have to make sure that you know everything that's out there to enable you to create the best experience for them.
What do you need? What can CEDIA Expo provide you that will make your job easier?
More coffee stations? I think they're doing a pretty good job, to be honest. Like, the app works great. I use that to find a booth because I'm too lazy to walk around the whole venue 3 times. That's probably the quickest shortcut they offer. And otherwise, if I can get a coffee a little quicker, I think I'm pretty good.
This is the Ride Along Part 2, recorded live from CEDIA Expo and CIX, Denver, Colorado. We'll be right back. At the highest level of design, the absolute best specifying designers, architects, landscape designers are all highly focused on the technology and performance of products and materials today. You have to, because the products you specify for your projects have to perform and they have to last. That's one of the reasons why I am so proud to be working with TimberTech. Their focus on the technical renaissance of synthetic decking is literally changing the conversation about innovation and performance. It pulls focus on 3 priorities homeowners have and expect from the products their designers and architects specify for their luxury projects. 1, aesthetics must match the overall design and fit visually. 2, durability and maintenance. I've told you about my board flipping stories from my own wood decks. Clients not only want beauty, but they want ease of use, and they want it to last for decades. 3, sustainably made. Clients are more conscious of the environment now, and they want the same of their materials. TimberTech hits each one of these elements with a product that not only meets expectations, they exceed them. TimberTech makes a synthetic decking that looks just like wood, color and embossed wood grain for a natural appearance. Their composite decking is technologically superior, as it has been created to last for decades, and it's manufactured with up to 85% recycled material. Their advanced PVC, vintage, and landmark collections have a Class A flame spread rating, making these products an amazing choice for wildfire-prone areas, which unfortunately continues to grow on the risk map. Check the show notes for more information about this and to find the nearest showroom or lumberyard where you can find TimberTech, or you can check them out directly, timbertech.com. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome a new sponsor to the program. First of all, because I love new sponsors to the program, but also because this one is something that each and every one of you has been looking for. Loam AI is a company that has its roots in technology and engineering with a passion for high-quality content development. Listen, designers, architects, landscape architects, shelter industry brands, you know that time is the one thing we can't create, right? So how would you like the power of AI in content development programming that allows you to design instead of editing videos, scripting, and writing your content for social media? Loam AI was created by a team of engineers with a passion for creative content development. This is text to video, so you describe it and Loam AI creates it. It's really amazing. You're going to have to check this out. And they make it simple to change content sizes for different social media outlets. How tired are you of trying to resize the content that you create? Or send it out to a freelancer and keep getting the recharges because it has to be put in different sizes. It's a pain, and Loam AI fixes that. It's easy to use, has US-based support if you need it. Let me rephrase. The support is here in the United States if you need it. Stunning images, realistic voices, built-in captions, and it's simple to use. Sign up and try it for free without a credit card at loam-ai.com. I'll say that again. LOME-AI.com. Simple, inexpensive, text to video, harnessing the power of AI to grow your firm beautifully.
Eric Steers, Irish by nature, but out here for a good decade now. We're Synergy Spaces, based out of LA, but we are a nationwide company now. I'm our head of operations / national project manager. I'm actually based out of New York myself to give us a bit of a East Coast presence. But we're all across the states. We're Texas, Miami, Idaho, New York, LA, project-wise, but LA is our hub.
If someone said, what do you specialize in, could you narrow that down?
Yeah, I'd say we'd specialize in specialty spaces, niching in the acoustical environments. We also have our secure side of the business as well. Looking through, really, we kind of at our heart, we start at the theater space, but now we've branched out into the recording studios, really the whole home acoustics, and now kind of that acoustical wellness trend that's coming now. We're kind of branching off our scope into whether it be, a library, a gym, a yoga studio, helping with the acoustics throughout the whole home. And then that kind of brought us into, the secure environments. We do safe rooms and everything like that. Kind of transition through the door side of things. Doors are difficult sometimes, so we kind of have the acoustical door thing down. Now we're into the safe room doors.
When you say you're into safe room doors, does it, you manufacture or you install?
We install. We have a good few partnerships across the vendors, but they're helpful in the install, but they can be complex at times too.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I want to circle back on that in just a minute. Before we do, and that's obviously why you're here at CEDIA Expo, CIX. Tell me about your findings of the show this year.
Yeah, it's great to be here, to be honest, because we are very much a partner of the audiovisual integration. We don't actually do any of the install of that equipment, but we're very much symbiotic with making the space work with the equipment, and to see how fast the equipment develops, the technology, and we've obviously got to keep up with that from a design build side of things as well. So, obviously acoustical isolation at our theater space, let's talk about, is, paramount to the client. And if we've got, equipment that gets better and better and louder, and the acoustics are more difficult to isolate, we've got to keep up with that as well, and our methods. And it's very exciting, especially, the video wall craze. We've got a couple of the demos here that we're blown away by the visual side of things, and obviously the audio is amazing. So it kind of keeps us on our toes, let us know what's coming behind us and what we have to keep up with as far as the space itself, whether it be the actual acoustics inside the space or isolating it from outside.
So you mentioned relationship with integrators. So you work with integrators?
Correct. Yeah, we kind of, we don't like to step on toes there. Like, we know that they have, their high-tech equipment, and we try to integrate them into our design and our plans. We'll definitely have some roundtable meetings with them, depending on what they're using, whether it be video wall, projection. So we can build out the projector enclosures, run the HVAC for supply and returns, whatever is necessary. Make sure that the other trades in the house. So if we have we work with GCs as well, so we want to complement them. We'll take over the specialty spaces and try to kind of be the GC of the room. But obviously the AV integrators are throughout the whole home. So when it comes to that theater space, we want to really make it as seamless and as easy as possible for them to be able to accomplish what is extremely difficult and a very specialty as far as the space.
What I think is truly interesting is we've entered into this new phase of some of these specialty spaces where the specialty room seems to be becoming more prevalent. You've got, the kitchen has completely changed dramatically. A master bath space has completely changed dramatically as far as its functionality and performative value and what it does. The theater has changed dramatically, as has the idea of an isolated safe room. When you come to a show like this, are you product focused or idea focused?
Well, I personally get very passionate about the idea side of things and the creativity of, I think the theater space isn't just the theater space anymore. I think it started with the theater space being used as a multifunctional space. Now, especially with the visuals of the video wall, it can be, lights on and, more of an entertainment space, or, people using it just to read and find tranquility and our kind of ethos is finding the right frequency of the space. And, now we've opened the doors of the theater and moved out to the rest of the house. So, obviously trying to find the client's needs and what they actually do in their day-to-day life is very important. And I actually find myself that it's a great passion for us now because we get to turn these other spaces into the house. Okay, maybe it's not the top of the line theater with all the equipment in it. It could just be a little library nook, but to be able to incorporate some acoustical plaster and give them some tranquility when they're reading their books, and then they can move into the gym space, we'll isolate some floors, if they have the nursery next door, just being able to really make the whole home more functional for different areas of wellness throughout their life.
Do you handle interior design internally, or do you work with interior designers?
We work with interior designers, depending on the caliber of the project, to be honest. That we'll definitely help out and consult and do our kind of comprehensive due diligence of where design should direct. But no, we do partner with a lot of designers. I think where I like to sit at those tables is, we work with some really, really good acoustical consultants that are with the client throughout the rest of the space, that sometimes with the design team and the acousticians there tends to be a bit of back and forth depending on if we've got a room with a lot of hard surfaces and a lot of high ceilings, the designer they want to stick to their design, but the acoustician might want to soften some space, and we try to integrate design with the acoustician and work with the designers and say, okay, well look, maybe we can use some acoustical plaster instead of some fabric wrap panels, and try and bridge that gap between them. But trying to make everybody's job a little bit easier on site is kind of where we're at. But yes, partnering with designers is a big one. Also because designers are extremely creative, which is great, and they want to be able to take that creativity and run with it and not kind of be pigeonholed by certain things. And we try to ground them and be okay, look, the design of the theater is looking amazing, but we are kind of worried about some hard surfaces here and there, some reflection, and try and give them the best design they can while also holding true to the theater space.
My name is Dan Augsburger. My company is LEA Professional, and I am the U.S. sales manager for our residential business. The company LEA is based in South Bend, Indiana, right next to Elkhart, Indiana.
Tell me about the company. Tell me what you do.
So as a company, we manufacture IoT-enabled smart amplifiers, and there's a lot of aspects of the amplifier that make it unique. Kind of core technology-wise, we have several different IT platforms that, we like to say they're intuitive. They just make sense. They're the kind of platform you can just, start using it and all of a sudden you're aware of the capabilities, not really training intensive. We also have smart power features, and really smart power underpins our overall philosophy. Some of the smart power features include smart power bridge, allow you to double the power output of a single channel, or just really general flexibility when it comes to the amplifier. And then lastly, we have DSP. So all of our amplifiers include built-in DSP capabilities, and the idea there is optimize the performance of the speakers you're driving by the amplifier, and I'd say LEA amplifiers do an exceptional job of that. It's kind of the big picture view, but again, the amplifier's in the middle, but it's the core technologies, or all the technologies we've surrounded the amplifier with that I'd say make us unique.
Tell me about the show. We're here at CEDIA Expo 2025. We're in Denver, Colorado. It is a gorgeous day. The show has been fantastic, But it's funny because I'm out here in the lobby in this incredible VW Buzz, ID Buzz.
Beautiful.
This is so much fun. I was saying I've never had an opportunity to do the show before from the inside of a vehicle, and I could not pick a better vehicle to do the show than this one. It's been great.
Honestly.
So how is the show going?
Show's going quite well. This has been an interesting year. A lot of macro factors at play, but I find that things have started to settle down. In terms of at the beginning of the year, all the conversations were around tariffs and how does that impact the business, and how are project timelines impacted. It's almost there's become a little fatigue of that topic in general, and people have really gotten past that and have created plans that allow them to operate regardless of their scenario. So I think in general the sentiment of the show has been really positive. People are excited about the remainder of Q3 as well as Q4, and when you look at the various echelons of society, I find that I've been told in discussions we find that the impact of the tariffs as well as interest rates are kind of slowing down business on the lower, projects below $40,000, $50,000. But above that, there really has been not much impact. There's still a lot of projects being done, and we're capitalizing on that.
And tell me about. I find that fascinating, and it's interesting because the two things that everyone's talking about right now, tariffs and AI.
Yeah.
Right? But there's really, you kind of have to let it marinate a little bit because it hasn't settled in. Either one of those topics haven't settled in. So we're really talking about ideas and we're talking about concepts here at the show. How do those, tell me about the conversations you're having with integrators, because I would imagine at some point you're explaining what you do, what the company does, how you do it, and the light bulb goes on.
Yeah. To be completely honest, most frequently the light bulb moment occurs when we start talking about our cloud capabilities. So in general, there are a lot of cloud solutions out there, but it's really, when it comes to the LEA cloud, it's a robust cloud. It allows two-way communication in that not only when you're not, eyes on glass looking at the performance of the system, the cloud has the ability to notify you. Our LEA cloud has the ability to notify you based on the current health scenario, the amplifiers in play. And taking that a step further, it's all good if you become aware of an issue, but let's say the install is 200 miles away from you, well, that's a lot of gas. So the ability to make, especially in scenarios where it's just a slight adjustment that needs to occur, the ability to do that remotely and subsequently be aware of the if there's ever any more issues or how that performance evolved, there's the value there.
My name is Jason Jesperson from Premier Audio and Images in Muskegon, Michigan. I've been an integrator for electronics for over 25 years in the home and commercial line, and before that it was car audio.
Car audio before that?
For 12 years, yeah.
What's interesting, going from in-vehicle to in-home, huge difference, but it's like luxurious. You've got all this extra space.
Oh yeah, it was a meeting in Dallas, Texas, with one of my reps that took me from a car audio build that was down there, and he took me to the first CEDIA show, and I was hooked. So I saw all of this cool stuff going on, and I wanted to be a part of it.
It's funny because you say that. I remember, this is ridiculous, I remember when I was 18, and I had a Toyota Supra, and I had Boston Acoustic all around, Sony crossovers, Blaupunkt removable head unit.
Oh yeah.
That car got stolen so fast. I got to enjoy it for about a year, and then it was gone.
I sold code alarm and Viper alarms back in the day just because of that.
So crazy. Yeah. How's the show for you this year?
Oh, it's wonderful. Now, I have not been at a CEDIA show in, I think, 7 years now. The last CEDIA show was, for me, San Diego. And so it's been wonderful to be back in Denver, see my friends that I haven't seen for years, and the weather's been great, people have been great, everybody has got a good attitude, and I love it.
It's going to sound kind of silly, but in 7 years, how has the conversation changed?
I think for me, it's the technology has changed quite a bit. what we do today is a little bit different than we did 7 years ago. There's a lot more items that we're integrating with HDMI cables to different parts of the room, and now technology has brought us to where many items we're streaming the sources. And so it's, in one way it's simplified, in other ways it's more complicated. So it's just a change, natural.
Yeah, it's a change, but the language has changed, the vernacular has changed, the products have changed. And because the learning curve is so vast and so, it hockey stick, right? So your primary clients, are you working homeowner, architect, interior designer?
Mostly homeowners, and I'm hoping to make a transition to get involved with more decorators because of the lineup of the things that we have available now. It's a natural. So the architectural firms in my area lacking, so I'd probably have to travel out to contact some of them. But I'm not opposed to doing that. But it's been a great show to open my eyes to different possibilities that my business could go to.
What is your primary area?
I'm in the West Michigan area primarily.
Okay.
But I've done jobs as far as South Florida and North Carolina, and so I haven't done anything in Canada, but that would be the Northern Michigan too.
What are you seeing here at CEDIA Expo this year, 2025, that you're really excited about?
Lighting. Yeah, lighting's a big thing. I can't believe the changes that we've got, and the manufacturers have stepped up and made all different kinds of products. It's very exciting.
I love that you said that, because we've been talking about lighting for the last day and a half, a lot about lighting. And what's so interesting is, because I talk to interior designers and architects so often, the lighting plan has become so important in the overall project scope of work and the projects. And because the technology has come so far, especially as it relates to lighting and what you can do with LED, and it's not just the lighting with LED, but it's the projection and the screens with LED, and it's also how the screens have become part of design.
Yes.
It's amazing what you can do with the product that's out there now.
Yes, the shapes, sizes, colors, placement to give whatever type of look you're after, from a traditional to a very modern. And the colors are, it's just wonderful. I can't wait to get started in more projects involving lighting control, because I've been in lighting control since I started with a number of manufacturers, including Crestron and Vantage Controls. So it's nice to see the end products that we are controlling are evolving and stepping up.
I want to talk to you about a touchy subject.
Okay.
The issue is budget.
Yeah.
Because budget is so crucial to the project, because what we're talking about in the minds of many homeowners, like the ones on the luxury end, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, gotta do it, just go do it. Mid-level, the budgets are crucial, the budgets are stretched, and they're stretched in so many different directions right now, not the least of which, just look at the kitchens. Used to be, kitchen was 3 appliances on a triangle, and everything else was decor and decoration. Kitchens now are one of the most, if not the most, next to the home theater, the most technical space in a home, residential.
I agree. And it's a gathering place, like a family room in most cases. And so lighting, audio, sometimes visual, is needed in those spaces as you gather around the kitchen with your friends, family.
And here's the question for you. And I know that you're dealing with the homeowners, and maybe the homeowners have an interior designer, maybe they don't. But in that kitchen, where it used to be the 3 appliances on a triangle, you'd buy it at a package from a box store. But nowadays, you've got butler's pantry, scullery, wine bar, coffee bar. If it's a residentially legal or an adult use state, you've got weed bars. You've got coffee machines. You've got coffee stations, water purification. What you can do with a kitchen space is exceptional. And I only use that as an example because when it comes to budgets, homeowners are dubious to begin with. And when it comes to a subject matter like AV, home tech, smart home integration, that they don't understand, they don't speak the language, they don't understand the product availability or what it does or how to set it up or what happens if it goes down, how do you have that conversation where you're both educating and you're selling in the process, but you're educating first and foremost? How do you have that conversation?
We have to ask the right questions, what their life is like, their daily life in dealing with television, audio, and find out what's important to them, and then show them different levels of quality, and most of that times with demonstrations to see if that meets their needs or exceeds their needs or exceeds their budget. So we have to set realistic, budgets for people and their families. It isn't that difficult, really. It's just a matter of finding where that's at, what their goal is, and finding the right products and the right budget to achieve it. And there's a vast array of products to meet their needs, quality products. So I've been doing that for a long time.
What would you say if you had to force rank product and opportunity as it relates to integrated entertainment, lifestyle, lighting? Give me the top 5.
The top 5 brands?
Top 5 must-haves.
In the house.
Yeah.
Let's define the size of the house.
Well,
because
and it's funny. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Because the opportunities are endless, and you talk about size of the house. Home theater.
Yeah.
Full home audio. Lighting plans throughout.
Yeah.
If you have a bathroom where the homeowner wants sauna, steam, integrated in-shower entertainment system, you have a lot of options.
Yeah, there are a lot of options there. So this is usually a mid to large home we're talking about versus, say, a track or a smaller entry-level house. And they deserve to have something too, whether it's built in or it's something that sits on a shelf and gives them audio and video. So cover all bases, but on the bigger scope of things, we have to have that conversation is what's the importance for the majority of the budget to find out and make sure that that's covered first, and then we can trickle down to other items that are important to them.
You mentioned what a great show it is this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and you also mentioned the lighting options and opportunities. What are some of the takeaways from what you've seen, and how you're going to, no pun intended, but integrate that into your work?
Looking at the offerings, how Ketra, how the lighting dimmable capabilities are now there, which we always wanted, but now we can get down to 1%. We can have the exact color for the right time of the day to, just help people, move smoothly through their evenings. Instead of having any kind of blue light on at night, we can now move to a nice, warmer, cleaner light. And I think that's an important part of life. It's just, it's a natural, and I like that. As far as the other offerings in audio, the streaming options that we have with high resolution audio through very high quality distribution, that's remarkable too. Before we were buying physical media, and now that quality is surpassed in streaming media. So that's exciting too.
And I imagine too that creates other opportunities.
Yes.
Storage.
Yeah, you may not have to purchase and store a lot. You can get a subscription to a high-resolution audio source and have it anywhere, in your house, instead of having to carry the media throughout the house. It's great.
And It's interesting. So now CEDIA Expo has to be it must be an annual event for you.
I will try to make it an annual event.
It's been 7 years.
Yeah.
And you see what a huge difference.
Yes.
It's almost a must attend.
Yeah. Yeah, COVID was a real killer on, I think, the industry and the fallout of that. So that was probably part of it why I have been gone for so long and then got occupied with major projects during the same period of time.
This came up yesterday, and I think it's fascinating. When you talk about COVID, there's a lot of conversations about what it was and how it affected the shelter industry. We learned so much from those 2 years. And then you come to CEDIA and you see the application, you see what everybody learned. And now it's in practical application. You see products, you see the actual products. They took the lessons learned from that experience, and now you can see it in the real world. And I kind of feel like we're only scratching the surface of new products to come.
Yes, I agree. There's been mergers and developments that are going at a rapid pace. Add AI into that, and I think it's going to go even faster. So it's a very exciting time to be in all of this.
Absolutely, and we'll see you here next year.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thanks. Good job. I appreciate this. Thank you very much. The Design Hardware Showroom is a space where specifiers can go and find an incredible selection of high-end faucets, luxury tile, natural stone, wood floors, and bespoke hardware, and so much more. Select products are presented in a holistic manner, strategically arranged to stimulate creativity and transition your vision from the conceptual stage to a fully realized space. You will find everything you're looking for, even the products by brands you didn't know you didn't know. Surprise and delight. Am I right? All under one roof on 3rd Street in Los Angeles, just up the street from the Grove. Conveniently located, free parking available. Stop by to find inspiration, collect samples, get expert advice, and tackle everything on your specification list all in one place. Visit them online at designhardware.com, at Design Hardware and Flooring on the socials, or in the real world, 6053 West 3rd Street in Los Angeles. So amazing, right? This was part of our series called The Ride Along from CEDIA Expo, CIX 2025 in Denver, Colorado. Thank you to all of the amazing people at CEDIA, at Emerald for making this possible. Thank you, Volkswagen, for providing an incredible recording space in the all-new VW ID Buzz. Man, those seats were so comfortable. Thank you, Caitlin, Tyler, Gina, Julian, Eric, Dan, and Jason. So much fun. Thank you to my partner sponsors for all of their support. Pacific Sales, TimberTech, the AZEC Company, Best Buy, Loam AI, Design Hardware and Flooring. Please, these are all companies that support the industry. So please support them on your next project as well. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, share it with a friend or colleague who loves design and architecture like you do. Subscribe to Convo by Design wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and continue the conversation on Instagram at Convo by Design with an X, and keep those emails coming with guest suggestions, show ideas, and locations where you'd like to see us recording live. Convo by Design at Outlook.com. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, be well, stay focused, and rise above the chaos.